a world full of noise, chaos, and endless pressure, your mind doesn't need to be a battlefield. The Stoics believe that peace is not found in the world, it's created inside you. Today, I'll show you 10 powerful ways to build unshakable mental calm, no matter what's happening around you. In a world full of noise, pressure, and endless distractions, mental peace can feel impossible. But the Stoics taught a simple truth. The world is chaotic, but your mind doesn't have to be. Peace isn't something you find, it's something you create. Today, let's explore 10 Stoic ways to create mental peace in a chaotic world, each one powerful enough to transform not just your day, but your entire life. 1. Control what you can, release what you can't. The Stoics believe that most suffering comes from trying to control everything. You don't need to control the world. You only need to control your actions, your words, your choices, your focus. The moment you stop fighting the uncontrollable, your mind becomes light, calm, and focused. Peace begins the moment you stop trying to manage the things you never controlled. 2. Practice the art of pausing. 1 second, 1 breath, 1 moment of awareness. This tiny pause can save you from anger, regret, and emotional burnout. The world wants quick reactions. Stoicism encourages calm responses. Before you reply, before you react, before you judge, pause. It's in the pause that wisdom grows and peace enters. 3. Choose your inner dialogue wisely. Your mind talks every second. The question is it your enemy or your ally? The Stoics trained their thoughts like a warrior trains the sword. When the mind whispers fear, answer with reason. When it creates doubt, answer with discipline. When it creates chaos, answer with clarity. You become peaceful when you stop believing every negative thought. 4. Accept reality without resistance. The Stoics called it amor fati, love your fate. Life will not always go the way you expect, but your peace should not depend on perfect conditions. Instead of saying, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What can I learn from this?" Acceptance doesn't mean weakness. Acceptance means you are strong enough to meet reality as it is, not as you wish it to be. 5. Detach from opinions, judgments, and noise. Peace disappears the moment you start living for other people's approval. The world will always have opinions, criticism, and judgments. But the Stoics taught one rule: not every voice deserves your attention. Detach from negativity, detach from noise, detach from the need to explain yourself to everyone. Your peace grows when your dependency on external validation ends. 6. Simplify your life. Chaos in the world is not the problem. Chaos in your lifestyle is. Reduce distractions, declutter your environment, limit digital noise, cut unnecessary drama. Peace is not created by adding more. It's created by removing what harms you. A simple life is a peaceful life. 7. Focus on daily discipline. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is freedom. When your day has structure, purpose, and direction, the mind becomes stable and calm. Wake up with intention. Set daily goals. Do the difficult things first. Small disciplines create big peace. 8. Practice gratitude. Even in difficulty, a chaotic world makes you focus on what's missing. Stoicism reminds you to focus on what's present. Gratitude grounds the mind. Gratitude breaks negative thinking. Gratitude turns ordinary moments into blessings. You cannot be grateful and anxious at the same time. Choose gratitude. Choose peace. 9. Keep your circle calm. Your environment shapes your inner world. If you surround yourself with angry, loud, negative people, peace becomes impossible. Choose calm company. Choose people who inspire growth, not stress. Choose conversations that uplift, not drain. Protect your peace by protecting your circle. 10. Remember, you are bigger than your problems. Your problems are not permanent. Your stress is not your identity. Your chaos is not your destiny. The Stoics believe that humans are far stronger than they think. The mind becomes peaceful when you stop magnifying your problems and start magnifying your strength. Peace begins with control, but not the kind of control most people chase. In a chaotic world, people often try to control circumstances, situations, and even other people. They believe peace will come after everything around them is fixed and perfect. But the truth is the opposite. Peace begins when you shift your focus from the external to the internal, from trying to manage life to managing yourself. Most stress comes from wanting life to be different than it is. You want people to act the way you expect. You want events to unfold the way you planned. You want outcomes to match your desires. And when they don't, you feel frustration, anger, disappointment, or anxiety. The Stoics understood this deeply. They taught that the world will always be messy, unpredictable, and imperfect. But your mind does not have to follow the same pattern. The world is not yours to control, but your actions, your attitudes, and your choices are. Imagine two people stuck in the same problem. One is panicking, blaming, and resisting reality. The other is calm, focused, and thinking clearly. The problem is the same, the experience is not. What separates them? Their relationship with control. The first person tries to control the external world. The second controls only what is theirs, their response. Peace comes to the one who responds with clarity, not chaos. When you stop trying to control everything around you, something powerful happens. Your mind relaxes. The pressure falls away. The world becomes lighter. You no longer feel responsible for fixing every outcome or making every person happy. Instead, you start focusing on what truly belongs to you. Your effort, your mindset, your decisions, your reactions. This shift is not small. It transforms your emotional life. But letting go of false control does not mean becoming passive. It means becoming wise. You don't stop taking action. You stop wasting energy on ineffective action. You still plan, but you don't panic when outcomes shift. You still try your best, but you don't attach your peace to results. You still care, but you don't cling. This is how the mind becomes quiet even when life is loud. Control also means controlling the stories you tell yourself. When something goes wrong, the mind immediately creates meanings. This is terrible. This shouldn't happen. Why me? These thoughts are not facts. They are interpretations, and these interpretations often create more suffering than the situation itself. When you choose your inner narrative consciously, you regain control over your emotional world. Another part of control is attention. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. If you constantly focus on problems, drama, and negativity, your mind becomes restless. But if you bring your attention back to your breath, your body, or the present moment, peace returns. The Stoics taught that peace is found in attentiveness to the now, not in chasing future certainty. When you understand what is in your control and what is not, life becomes simpler. Distractions lose power. Opinions no longer shake you. Unexpected events no longer break you. You operate from a center of stability, not from the storms around you. You create a mental boundary. This is mine to focus on, that is not. This boundary protects your mental peace like a shield. And finally, real control is not about dominating life, it's about mastering yourself. When you master your reactions, your breathing, your thoughts, and your perspective, you gain a kind of inner freedom that no chaos can touch. The world may remain unpredictable, but your mind becomes unshakable. That is where true peace lives. The power of the pause is one of the simplest yet most transformative tools for creating inner peace in a chaotic world. Most people move through life reacting instantly to everything around them: messages, problems, insults, stress, disappointments, and sudden changes. This constant rush of reactions keeps the mind in a state of tension. The Stoics understood that the gap between a stimulus and your response is where your true power lives. In that gap, even if it's only a few seconds, lies your ability to choose clarity over chaos. When something happens, your mind automatically wants to jump into action. Someone speaks rudely, and anger rises. A plan fails, and you panic. Bad news arrives, and fear takes control. These instant emotional reactions are natural, but they don't have to rule you. A pause gives you control over your own mind. It allows you to breathe before the storm inside you takes over. It creates distance between what happened and what you decide to do about it. Those few seconds of stillness can prevent mistakes, damaged relationships, wrong decisions, and emotional exhaustion. Most regrets are born from reactions we didn't think through: a harsh reply sent in anger, a decision made in fear, a comment said without thought. But when you pause, you give yourself a moment to consider, is this reaction going to help me or harm me? That moment of reflection is often enough to stop you from acting in ways that disturb your own peace. A pause is not weakness, it is wisdom. It shows that you are not controlled by impulses, emotions, or external events. In a world that pushes you to react instantly, choosing to slow down is an act of strength. You regain authority over your actions. You protect your peace by choosing your response consciously, not automatically. The pause also helps you process emotions more clearly. When you take a breath before responding, you allow the emotional wave to settle. Strong emotions like anger, fear, and frustration are temporary. They rise, peak, and fall. But if you react during the peak, your actions become emotional instead of rational. By pausing, you let the wave pass before taking action. This results in better decisions, calmer communication, and a more balanced mind. Pausing is also a powerful tool for understanding yourself. When you pause, you become aware of what triggers you. You begin to ask deeper questions. Why did that comment bother me? Why am I feeling defensive? Why am I anxious about this situation? Instead of staying on the surface of your emotions, the pause allows you to explore what's happening inside. Self-awareness grows, and with it, emotional strength. Another benefit of pausing is that it shifts your focus from reaction to observation. Instead of being swept away by the moment, you step outside of it. You become the observer of your thoughts, not the prisoner of them. This distance gives you clarity. You begin to see situations more objectively, without exaggeration or emotional distortion. You start to respond from a place of reason instead of impulse. A pause also makes your life feel slower and more intentional. In a world full of noise, speed, and pressure, small moments of silence can refresh your mind like water refreshes the body. When you consciously slow down, the world no longer feels overwhelming. You become present, you reconnect with your breath, you reconnect with the moment, and presence always leads to peace. Finally, the habit of pausing builds long-term mental resilience. At first, it may feel difficult. Your mind will want to react. Your emotions will push you to speak or act quickly. But with practice, the pause becomes natural. It becomes a shield that protects you from stress and overthinking. It becomes a tool that gives you emotional clarity. And over time, it becomes a part of your identity, calm, conscious, and grounded. The world may stay chaotic, but with the power of the pause, your inner world does not have to follow it. Training your inner dialogue is one of the most powerful steps toward creating mental peace, because the mind is constantly speaking, and most people never stop to question what it says. From the moment you wake up until you fall asleep, your thoughts flow endlessly. Judgments, fears, memories, assumptions, worries, and opinions. If your inner dialogue is harsh, negative, or chaotic, your life will feel the same. The Stoics understood that the mind is not automatically your friend. It becomes your ally only when you train it with discipline and awareness. Most people assume their thoughts are facts. They believe whatever the mind tells them, even when those thoughts are exaggerated, unrealistic, or harmful. If the mind whispers, "You can't handle this," they accept it. If it says, "This always happens to you," they agree. If it imagines worst-case scenarios, they react as if those scenarios are already real. But the truth is that thoughts are not truths. They are mental events. And because they are not facts, you have the power to examine them, challenge them, or replace them. When you begin training your inner dialogue, the first step is awareness. You start paying attention to the tone, patterns, and habits of your thoughts. Are they helping you or hurting you? Are they motivating or exhausting? Are they guiding you or misleading you? Most inner chaos comes from unexamined thoughts that run wild without any control. Awareness lets you regain the role of the observer, not the victim, of your mental processes. Once you become aware, you can begin shifting the direction of your thoughts. The Stoics taught that reason should lead emotion, not the other way around. Your mind might create a fearful story, but logic can correct it. Your mind might make a situation seem hopeless, but reality is rarely as dramatic as fear makes it appear. Every time you challenge a negative assumption, you weaken its power. Every time you replace a destructive thought with a grounded one, you strengthen your inner peace. Training your inner dialogue also means speaking to yourself with strength, not self-criticism. Many people talk to themselves in ways they would never talk to someone they love. They insult themselves, doubt themselves, and tear themselves down. This internal hostility creates constant emotional tension. But when you begin encouraging yourself, guiding yourself, and supporting yourself through your thoughts, you change the entire environment inside your mind. You create an inner space that feels safe instead of stressful. Another important aspect of controlling your inner dialogue is not letting thoughts decide your emotional state automatically. You may feel anxious not because something bad is happening, but because your mind is telling you a story about what might happen. You may feel sad not because life is terrible, but because your thoughts keep replaying old wounds. When you realize that your emotions often follow your thoughts, not your reality, you become more careful with the thoughts you allow to stay. The mind will always create noise, but you don't have to attach meaning to every thought. You can let thoughts pass like clouds in the sky, appearing, drifting, and disappearing. Not every thought deserves attention. Not every thought deserves belief. Not every thought deserves a reaction. This skill of letting thoughts flow without clinging to them is a major source of inner calm. Additionally, training your inner dialogue means choosing interpretations that empower you rather than weaken you. When something goes wrong, your mind can create two stories: this is the end, or this is a challenge I can overcome. The event is the same. The interpretation creates the experience. When you choose interpretations rooted in strength, truth, and calm reasoning, your emotional world becomes stable. Finally, a trained mind does not seek problems, it seeks solutions. It does not dwell on fear, it looks for clarity. It does not repeat negativity, it creates direction. Over time, your inner dialogue becomes your personal coach, not your inner enemy. It becomes a source of support, not a source of stress. And when your thoughts become peaceful, your entire life feels different, no matter how chaotic the world around you may be. Accepting reality without resistance is one of the deepest forms of inner peace, because most emotional suffering comes not from what happens, but from our refusal to accept that it has happened. When life shifts in ways we don't expect, the mind immediately pushes back. This shouldn't be happening. Why me? This is unfair. That resistance creates tension, stress, and emotional exhaustion. The Stoics understood that reality is neutral. It is our interpretation and refusal to accept it that creates pain. When you accept reality as it is, you stop fighting a battle you can never win. You redirect your energy from resisting life to responding to it. Acceptance is not about liking or approving what happened. It is about acknowledging the truth of the moment without denying, avoiding, or escaping it. When you refuse to accept reality, you become stuck. You stay trapped in frustration, hoping the past could be different. But when you accept what has already occurred, you unlock the ability to move forward. Instead of looking backward with regret, you look forward with clarity. Most people confuse acceptance with weakness, but acceptance is actually strength. It takes courage to face reality honestly. It takes maturity to stop blaming and start understanding. It takes wisdom to see that life does not operate according to personal preferences. The world does not bend itself to your expectations. People will disappoint you. Plans will fail. Unexpected events will unfold. Emotional peace comes not from preventing these things, but from meeting them with a balanced mind. When you accept a situation, you stop asking unproductive questions like, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking empowered questions like, "What can I learn from this?" or "How can I handle this wisely?" Acceptance shifts your mindset from victimhood to responsibility. It transforms chaos into something you can work with, instead of something you feel crushed by. Resistance creates mental noise. Acceptance creates space. When you resist what is happening, your mind becomes full of worry, fear, and anger. You replay the situation repeatedly, trying to mentally fight against it. But the moment you say, "This is the situation right now, I will deal with it as it is," your mind relaxes. Peace enters through the door of patience and clarity. Acceptance also protects you from unnecessary suffering. Often, the emotional pain we feel is not from the event itself, but from the story we attach to it. A breakup becomes a story of "I'm not good enough." A failure becomes "I will never succeed." A delay becomes "My life is ruined." These stories amplify the pain far beyond the reality. When you accept the event without adding dramatic interpretation, the pain becomes lighter and more manageable. You stop multiplying your suffering. Another powerful aspect of acceptance is understanding that everything in life is temporary. Situations rise and fall, emotions come and go, people enter and exit your life. Nothing stays the same forever. When you accept this fluid nature of life, you stop clinging to what must change and stop fearing the end of phases that are naturally closing. You begin to flow with life instead of resisting its natural rhythm. Acceptance is also a way to reclaim your power. When you resist, you give your energy to what you cannot change. But when you accept, you take back control of the only thing that truly belongs to you, your response. You begin to act with purpose rather than emotional turbulence. You make decisions based on clarity, not frustration. Ultimately, acceptance does not mean surrendering your dreams or giving up your goals. It means acknowledging the present moment clearly so you can make better decisions for the future. It means understanding that you cannot change the past, but you can shape what comes next. When you stop fighting reality and start working with it, you find a calm strength that no chaos can break. And in that calm strength, you discover true mental peace. Detaching from opinions, judgments, and noise is one of the most liberating steps toward mental peace, especially in a world where everyone has something to say about everything. Humans naturally seek approval, validation, and acceptance from others, but this creates a fragile sense of self. The more you depend on external opinions, the more your inner peace fluctuates. One negative comment can ruin your mood. One disagreement can disturb your balance. One judgment from someone who barely knows you can keep you awake at night. The Stoics understood this vulnerability and taught that true peace comes when you stop letting the outside world control your inner world. Every day you are surrounded by noise, not just literal noise, but emotional and mental noise. Opinions on social media telling you how you should live, critics pointing out your flaws, people projecting their insecurities onto you, comparisons that make you feel behind, expectations that make you feel pressured. All of this becomes heavy on the mind. But what makes it even heavier is when you internalize it. When you attach your worth to how others see you, you lose yourself in their noise. Detachment does not mean isolation. You don't need to cut off people or live in silence. It simply means you stop allowing every voice to enter your mind with authority. You start recognizing that not every opinion is meaningful, not every judgment is accurate, and not every comment deserves energy. Most opinions come from people who do not live your life, do not understand your struggles, and do not carry your responsibilities. Their words reflect their mindset, not your reality. When you detach, you create a protective boundary around your mind. You remind yourself their opinion is theirs. My peace is mine. You stop letting random comments shape your self-image. You stop needing approval to feel good about yourself. You stop giving emotional power to people who contribute nothing to your growth. The truth is, no matter what you do, someone will always have something to say. You can be kind and someone will call you weak. You can be confident and someone will call you arrogant. You can be silent and someone will call you boring. You can be expressive and someone will call you dramatic. Opinions will always exist because people judge from their own lens. That lens may be shaped by insecurity, jealousy, misunderstanding, or limited knowledge. Is it wise to let such opinions disturb your mental peace? Detachment also protects you from the endless pressure of comparison. When you are attached to how others are living, achieving, or behaving, you lose sight of your own path. You begin to compete with illusions. You begin to chase deadlines that were never meant for you. But when you detach, you focus on your journey, not theirs. You understand that your life is not a race, and your timing is not supposed to match anyone else's. Another powerful part of detachment is learning not to take things personally. Many people project their own struggles, fears, and insecurities onto others. A rude comment often reflects inner pain. A negative judgment often reflects personal dissatisfaction. When you understand this, you stop absorbing negativity as a reflection of your worth. You begin to see criticism as a mirror of the critic, not of yourself. Detaching from noise also helps you hear the most important voice, your own. When your mind is not crowded with external judgments, you gain clarity about what you truly want, what matters to you, and what direction feels right. Your intuition becomes stronger. Your confidence becomes steadier. You trust yourself more because your mental space is no longer polluted with unnecessary opinions. Finally, detachment gives you emotional freedom. You are no longer shaken by praise or criticism. Praise doesn't inflate your ego. Criticism doesn't destroy your confidence. You stay steady, balanced, and grounded. The world becomes noisy, but you remain calm inside. This calmness is not accidental. It is created by consciously choosing what you allow into your mental space. When you detach from external opinions, judgments, and noise, you reclaim control over your inner world. You stop living for others and start living for yourself. You protect your mind from unnecessary chaos and give yourself the gift of true peace. Discipline creates stability because it gives your life structure in a world that constantly tries to pull you in every direction. Without discipline, your emotions lead your actions, your impulses shape your decisions, and your environment controls your behavior. With discipline, you regain authority over your life. You set the tone of your day instead of letting circumstances decide it for you. The Stoics understood that a disciplined mind is a peaceful mind because discipline builds predictability, order, and strength inside you, all of which reduce chaos. When your life lacks discipline, everything becomes overwhelming. Small tasks pile up and turn into stress. Delayed responsibilities become anxiety. A messy routine becomes a messy mind. You constantly feel like you are catching up instead of living with intentional direction. But when you build discipline, you minimize internal noise. You organize your actions, and in doing so, you organize your thoughts. You create a sense of control, not by controlling the world, but by controlling your habits. Daily discipline is not about strictness or punishment. It is about giving your day a solid foundation. When you wake up at a consistent time, your mind feels grounded. When you plan your tasks and follow through, your mind feels capable. When you take responsibility for your actions, your mind feels strong. Every disciplined act sends a message to yourself: I am in charge of my life. This sense of self-command creates confidence, and confidence brings peace. Discipline also reduces overthinking. When you lack structure, your mind has too much room to wander into doubt, fear, and unnecessary worry. But when your time is directed toward meaningful actions, your thoughts become anchored. You focus on what needs to be done instead of what might go wrong. The mind becomes calmer because it is engaged, not lost. Many people think they need motivation to start, but motivation is unreliable. Discipline is consistent. It is the bridge that carries you even when your emotions try to pull you away. Another powerful aspect of discipline is that it builds emotional resilience. When you push yourself to do the difficult things, exercising, studying, working, improving, you train your mind to handle discomfort instead of running from it. This makes you mentally stronger. Life becomes less frightening. Challenges become manageable. You no longer collapse under pressure because you are used to facing resistance with intention. Discipline becomes your emotional armor. Discipline also protects your mental peace by reducing chaos in your environment. When your space is organized, your mind becomes lighter. When your finances are controlled, your anxiety decreases. When your habits are healthy, your energy rises. Disorder in life creates disorder in the mind, and discipline slowly eliminates that disorder. You stop living reactively and start living proactively. A disciplined life also brings clarity. When you follow a consistent routine, you become aware of what truly matters to you. You identify your priorities, your values, and your long-term goals. You stop wasting time on distractions and start investing in growth. This clarity removes confusion and stress. You no longer feel lost because you are moving with purpose. The beauty of discipline is that it compounds. Small actions, done every day, create massive long-term results. Reading a few pages daily leads to knowledge. Saving a little money leads to stability. Exercising regularly leads to strength. Practicing gratitude leads to happiness. Every disciplined step adds up, creating a powerful life built on intentional habits. Furthermore, discipline creates peace because it prevents regret. When you follow your routines, stay committed to your goals, and act responsibly, you avoid the emotional pain that comes from procrastination or wasted time. You no longer feel guilty about what you failed to do. Instead, you feel calm knowing you showed up for yourself. Ultimately, discipline is an act of self-respect. It shows that you value your time, your goals, and your future. When you honor your commitments to yourself, you build a strong inner foundation, one that chaos cannot shake. Discipline may take effort, but the reward it gives is priceless. A stable mind, a steady heart, and a peaceful inner world.